Good morning, students. Today we start with a very interesting chapter of economics, that is problem of deficit demand and excess demand, which means that if demand will be less or if it will be more, in both the condition there will be a great problem in the economy. But before we start with the chapter, first we need to understand certain concepts which have been related with the problem of excess or deficit demand. And these concepts, as you all can see on your screen, are the very first one is full employment equilibrium and underemployment equilibrium. Now children, you very well know, you all have done in your previous lesson that equilibrium is struck when AD equals to AS or when S equals to I. But do you know that it is not necessary that it is a situation of full employment when resources are fully utilized. Children, AD and AS may be equal even when resources are not fully utilized, or you can say when there is unemployment in the economy. Now to make you understand, let me put it in this way. Let's say, now you all assume that for fuller utilization of the resources, let's say in an economy, there has to be an output of worth rupees 10 billion US dollars. But the producer may plan an output and the household may also plan an expenditure of an output worth rupees, let's say 8 billion US dollar. So that means that worth 2 billion US dollar of output remains unutilized, but still the equilibrium is struck. The reason, because the planned output, that is AS, and planned expenditure on output, that is AD, are equal to 8 billion US dollar. It means under such condition we come under two possible situations. Now first could be full employment equilibrium and second could be underemployment equilibrium. Now if we talk about the first one, full employment equilibrium, it is being struck when planned AS and planned AD along with the full utilization of resources. Over here when we talk about the full utilization of resources, we mean to say that an equilibrium is struck under full employment when the AD and AS been planned to be as 10 billion US dollar. But underemployment equilibrium is struck when again AD equals to AS but still resources are not fully utilized. It is still there is an excess capacity of the resources in the economy. But it's a situation of underemployment because all the resources are not fully and completely utilized, though equilibrium is struck when planned AS equals to planned AD at 8 billion US dollar. Clear? Now the next is voluntary and involuntary unemployment. When we talk about the voluntary employment, children, voluntary employment is a situation, let's say, when people they choose to remain unemployed even when jobs are available. That means they may not be willing to work at all or not willing to work at the existing wage rate. Whereas when we talk about involuntary employment is a situation when some people are not getting work even when they are willing to work at the existing wage rate. Now it is a situation when AD is not enough to induce the fuller utilization of the existing resources, means AD is not generating more of the employment, and accordingly planned output is lower than the potential output. So there is always an excess capacity in the economy and some people are forced to remain unemployed. Now the next one comes the full employment and natural employment. When we talk about the full employment, children, it refers to that situation when all those who are able to work and are willing to work at the existing wage rate are getting work. Now it is a situation when at a given wage rate, let's say the demand of the labor equals to the supply of the labor. But over here, one thing I want to clear you all, that is, when we talk about a situation of full employment, then it does not mean that it's a situation of zero unemployment. That means that under full employment also, there always exists some degree of unemployment, which is called natural unemployment. Now why does this happen? When we are saying full employment, still why there is a natural unemployment? Children, the reason is because it's a fact that always there will be a constant change in the supply and demand, let's say supply and demand parameter in the economy, and accordingly the adjustments will take place. And while these adjustments takes place, during that time we'll find some people will continue to remain unemployed, and such situation is known as frictional or structural unemployment in the economy. So what is frictional unemployment? When we talk about frictional employment, it is the unemployment which is being associated with the changing of jobs in dynamic economy. That means it arises due to immobility of labor, or shortage of raw material, or due to lack of information regarding opportunities of employment, or you can say because of the shortage of power, wear and tear of machines, or let's say the tendency of the workers to move from one job to the other. And the last one is the structural unemployment. When we talk about the structural unemployment, children, it means it is an unemployment that results from the long-term decline of certain industries. That means it has been associated with some sort of structural changes, like when, let's say, the other factors of production apart from labor are in short supply. That could be a raw material, or let's say when laborers, they lack expertise for new emerging industries. Maybe the labor are not expert in the latest technology, or when there is a change in the production technique. So due to all these reasons, the structural unemployment take place. Now children, let's see that how these unemployment are been related, or let's say affects with the excess demand or the deficient demand. So to start with the problem of deficient demand, if you all can see on your screen, there is a diagram which has been showing the measurement of deficient demand. Now children, when we talk about a deficient demand, it means a deficiency of AD. AD means when demand is less. When demand is said to be deficient, let's say when it is lower than what is required for the full utilization of resources, means there are number of the resources in the economy which remains unutilized. So let's say AD is deficient when there is an excess capacity in the economy, and according to Keynes, AD is deficient when it is less than AS, means more of the supply could be there because already there are more of the resources available in the economy, but still the demand is not being generated. Now if you all see the diagram over here, children, on the x-axis, to prove it how there is a deficient demand with the help of a diagram, on the x-axis I have taken income, that is on the y-axis we have aggregate demand, 45 is the line of reference which is y, that is expenditure, and if you see I have shown you that ADF line shows the required level of AD for full employment in the economy, means ADF, F over here denotes the full employment. This is the line where we can say that resources are fully utilized. But right now the economy is in equilibrium at ADP, that is P is denoted as planned. So ADP line shows planned AD which is lower than full employment AD, and then you all can see there is a vertical difference between the ADF and ADP which is denoted as EF, and this is the deficient demand, means this is the difference that the demand could be generated till ADF, but in this economy demand is generated at ADP. So that is why we say that over here there is a deficient of demand, and that is why equilibrium has been somewhere on the F, not towards the E. Now over there they are asking you, or let me tell you what is the reason due to which there is a deficient demand. Well children, there are number of the reasons. The first one you can see, reduction in the private consumption expenditure. This is very important component for AD. Now, when we talk about two sector economy, okay, that's a closed economy. Now, in the private consumption expenditure is been reduced. That means that people are not doing more of the expenditure. However, there may be let's say large number of the reasons. If we talk about a developed economy, they might be saving more than their consumption, and that is why demand is not generated. Then second could be reduction in private investment expenditure. That means that the private investment expenditure, the people may reduce the situation, means they are not doing more of the business because of the poor business expectation. So another reason, that is why, let's say, when more of the business is not there, so demand is not generated for the goods, for the raw material. Then if we talk about the fourth sector open economy, then under fourth sector open economy, the reason is reduction in government expenditure. The government may be cutting the consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, and this may be because of their, let's say, because of their budgetary reasons. Maybe they find that budget is going high, so that is why they reduce their expenditure. Then next is declining export. Export is a very important component of AD children, and a fall in export implies fall in expenditure. Then comes rise in import. Import may rise when international prices they lower down. So maybe that is another reason that, let's say, that people are buying more from the other countries. So demand is not generated within our country. Then increase in tax rate. Let's say that the people have less of the income within their hand because the government have increased the tax. So people do not have more of the income which could be saved and could be used for the expenditure purposes. So children, in short, we can say that the deficiency of demand is a situation when planned AD is lower than its full employment level. And there are a number of the reasons, as you all know, a reduction in C, or a reduction in I, or a reduction of G, that is government expenditure, or a reduction in export, or a rise in import, or an increase in taxation. So this is the reason. So let's say these are the reasons due to which the demand is less in comparison to the resources which have been available in the economy.